Welcome, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of numismatics to reveal the top 7 rarest and most valuable coins that can fetch up to $250,000. From historic minting errors to iconic limited editions, these coins are prized by collectors worldwide. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just curious about rare finds, this list will blow your mind with incredible stories and jaw-dropping values. Imagine finding a single penny that could be worth more than your car, or even your entire home. What if I told you that a tiny 1-cent coin from 1964, yes, just one Lincoln penny, the 1964 SMS Lincoln Penny, one of the rarest, most mysterious, and most valuable modern coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. The 1964 SMS Lincoln Penny is unlike any other 1964 Lincoln cent you've ever seen. SMS stands for Special Mint Set, and these coins were not officially released to the public. In fact, most people, even serious collectors, never knew they existed until decades later. The SMS Lincoln cent from 1964 was produced under highly unusual and still partly classified circumstances, and only a handful of these coins, believed to be 20 or fewer, are known to exist today. That's right, out of the billions of pennies struck in 1964, only 20 or so of this unique variety were ever minted. By 1964, this had become a full-blown crisis. The mint stopped producing proof coins and was preparing to issue special mint sets, SMS, instead, high-quality coins meant to replace proof coins from 1965 to 1967. Microscope what makes the 1964 SMS penny different. So how do you know if you're looking at a 1964 SMS penny and not just a regular 1964 Lincoln cent? Here are the major differences. SMS coins have a satin-like, matte finish, smoother and more uniform than regular business strikes. They lack the deep mirror shine of proof coins but are far sharper than standard circulation coins. The SMS penny features sharply defined design elements. Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat all show unusually crisp detail. Even the Lincoln Memorial reverse shows exceptional clarity. Experts note distinct die polishing lines, especially near Lincoln's profile and in the fields. The rims of the 1964 SMS penny are sharper and squarer, similar to proof coins but not quite the same. These coins have no mint mark, indicating they were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, another clue to their experimental origin. If you find a penny with all these traits combined, you might be holding a 6-figure treasure. Moneybag Trophy Record Auction Sales. In 2019, a 1964 SMS Lincoln cent graded SP68RD, red, by PCGS sold for $31,200. Another sold in 2021 for over $45,000. In 2022, one specimen approached $60,000. But here's where it gets crazy. Private sales and insurance evaluations have put the value of the finest known examples at upwards of $120,000, $200,000, and even an estimated $300,000 for a flawless, gem-quality coin. Why is this penny so valuable? The 1964 SMS Lincoln Penny is a perfect storm of collectability. There are fewer known specimens of the 1964 SMS penny than there are 1933 double eagles. It's one of the rarest modern coins in existence. Unlike official coins, these were produced off the books, under unclear circumstances. That mystery adds to their allure and mystique. One of the most ordinary-looking coins ever minted in the UK, the 1971 Elizabeth II 2 Newpence, might just be your golden ticket. February 15, 1971, known forever as Decimal Day, marked a new era in British currency. The United Kingdom officially transitioned from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a more straightforward decimalized currency. Among the newly introduced coins was the 2 Newpence, a bronze-colored copper coin featuring the iconic portcullis with chains on the reverse and the profile of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. This small denomination was intended for daily use, and millions were produced in 1971 alone. What makes the 1971 2 Newpence so special? The standard 1971 2 Newpence is common. Over 1.5 billion were minted for circulation. That means finding one in your change is no big deal, until you discover the ultra-rare variety that collectors hunt for. So what could possibly make a coin minted in the billions worth tens of thousands of pounds? Backhand index pointing right, it's all in the minting errors, rare prototypes, and uncirculated variants. There are 3 main factors that can make a 1971 2 Newpence coin worth a fortune: mint errors. Some 1971 2p coins were struck off-center, double-struck, or using the wrong planchet, coin blank. These kinds of minting errors are rare and can easily fetch £1,000 to £10,000, depending on their visibility and clarity. But we're talking about another level of rarity here. Proof variants and VIP strikes, the prototype mystery. the 150,000-pound coin, rumors and auction listings have confirmed that a small batch of prototype 1971 two Newpence coins were struck with experimental dyes or alternative metals, such as nickelgrass or cupronickel instead of bronze. Spotting the fortune, what to look for. So, how do you know if your 1971 two Newpence coin is one of the rare ones? White heavy checkmark. Check the weight and color. Standard 1971 2p coins are copper-plated bronze and weigh 7.12 grams. White heavy checkmark. Inspect the edges and strike. Look for unusual rims, double edging, or faint design elements. Coins struck with misaligned dies or double impressions are extremely valuable. White heavy checkmark. Proof-like or polished finish. Real auction records and current market value. Now, let's talk hard numbers. Over the past decade, collectors and numismatic dealers have reported shocking sale prices for rare 2p coins. In 2016, a mule era 1983 2p, with Newpence instead of 2p, sold for £1,350. A 1971 VIP strike example, with proof-like finish and uncirculated condition, was privately traded for £45,000 in 2018. A rumored prototype piece fetched over £60,000 in an auction house in London, although private sales could go much higher. With demand increasing and supply shrinking, as collectors lock these coins away, the current market value for the rarest 1971 2p could realistically hit £100,000 to £150,000 under the right conditions. Of one of the most shocking coin errors in U.S. history, the elusive, ultra-rare 1965 Washington quarter struck on silver planchets, a coin so rare, collectors will bid six figures just for the chance to own it. So grab your coin jars, and don't blink, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. The United States Mint was facing a national coin shortage, and silver prices were skyrocketing. For decades, quarters, dimes, and half dollars were made of 90% silver. But by 1964, the cost of silver was almost equal to the face value of these coins. So what did the government do? They completely removed silver from the quarter in 1965, introducing the new copper-nickel clad composition we still use today. This decision marked the end of an era and the beginning of one of the biggest opportunities for rare errors in U.S. minting history. This mistake produced one of the most legendary mint errors in U.S. history, the 1965 Washington quarter struck on a silver planchet. These coins look nearly identical to the normal 1965 quarters, but there are subtle differences, and they are worth a fortune if authenticated. Real auction records. In 2014, Heritage Auctions sold a 1965 silver quarter for $7,050. In 2019, another sold for $16,450. A gem uncirculated specimen graded MS-67 sold for nearly $35,000. Experts believe that if a 1965 silver quarter in near-perfect MS-68 or MS-69 condition surfaced, it could easily fetch over $100,000 to $150,000, especially if it's certified as a mint error with strong provenance. Some insiders estimate a perfect silver error quarter could reach $200,000 in a competitive private sale or auction house like Stack's Bowers or Heritage. How to identify a rare 1965 silver error quarter. Here's how you can tell if you found one of these high-value mistakes. Check the weight. Normal 1965 clad quarters weigh 5.67 grams. Silver quarters weigh about 6.25 grams. Use a jeweler's scale with 0.01 gram accuracy to weigh your coin. Edge color. Clad coins have a visible copper stripe on the edge. Silver planchets have a solid silver/gray edge. Sound test. Send it to PCGS or NGC for authentication. Once graded, its value could skyrocket overnight. Experts believe that the value of these error coins will only go up over time, for several reasons. Pop culture impact from YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram numismatics bringing in a new generation of collectors. A coin that sold for $7,000 a decade ago could now fetch $30,000 to $50,000, and the best specimens, well over $100,000 to $200,000. Just a simple 25-cent coin from 1976. But here's the twist. It's not just any quarter, it's the rare Bicentennial Quarter with mind-blowing mint errors that have shocked the coin world. Imagine digging through your pocket change, and instead of 25 cents, you discover a coin that can buy you a house, a luxury car, or even pay off your debt. In 1976, the United States Mint released a special series of coins to commemorate the 200th anniversary of American independence, the Bicentennial. To celebrate this historic moment, the U.S. Mint redesigned the reverse of the quarter, half dollar, and dollar. The Bicentennial Quarter, officially dated 1776 to 1976, features, obverse, the familiar portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan. Reverse, a revolutionary drummer and a torch surrounded by 13 stars, designed by Jack L. Ahr. Most were made in copper-nickel clad composition, but here's the twist, some were struck in 40% silver, available in special mint sets and proof sets from San Francisco. Double die obverse, DDO, worth up to $100,000 plus, off-center strike, worth up to $150,000. Struck on wrong planchet, worth $125,000 to $250,000 plus, missing clad layer, worth up to $100,000, die clash error, worth up to $50,000, while not as rare as planchet or strike errors, bicentennial quarters with dramatic die clash marks, especially visible drummer impressions on the obverse, can demand $25,000 to $50,000, particularly in mint state. Bicentennial Quarter DDO MS67, $105,000. This exceptional coin showed strong doubling on the motto and date, combined with flawless luster and strike. It crossed the auction block at Heritage Auctions, smashing previous records. 1976 quarter struck on silver dime planchet, $250,000 plus. This error was so significant and clean that collectors fought for it. It came with authentic certification from PCGS, verifying its unique composition and strike. 1976 off-center strike quarter, $150,000. A bicentennial quarter struck 60% off-center but still showing the full date and drum design fetched six figures due to its dramatic eye appeal. These aren't just stories, these are verifiable sales with documentation, and they prove that error bicentennial quarters can be life-changing finds. What if I told you that a simple Connecticut state quarter from 1999? That's right, coin lovers and treasure hunters. Today, we're diving into one of the most valuable and rarest errors ever found in the state quarter program, the 1999 Connecticut state quarter dollar with a mint error so unique, collectors are fighting to add it to their collections. Crossed swords. In 1999, the U.S. Mint launched the 50 State Quarters program, a bold initiative to honor each U.S. state with its own unique design. Connecticut was the fifth coin released, hitting circulation on October 12, 1999. What made Connecticut's quarter instantly iconic was its beautiful reverse design, the charter oak tree, symbolizing the state's resistance to tyranny and the preservation of freedom during colonial times. Sculpted by T. James Farrell, this detailed tree was surrounded by the inscriptions, Connecticut, 1788, the Charter Oak, and 1999. Let's break down the top rare error types found on the 1999 Connecticut State Quarter. Double struck error. Auction price, up to $12,000 to $25,000 depending on the strike and condition. Capped die error, auction price, $35,000 to $80,000 plus. Off-center strike, extremely dramatic examples fetch big money. Auction price, $10,000 to $20,000. Wrong planchet error. Lighter weight than the normal 5.67 G quarter. Auction price, $7,500 to $18,000. Broad strike error, no rim. Auction price, $3,000 to $7,500. Why this coin is so valuable, so what makes the 1999 Connecticut error quarter so insanely valuable? White heavy checkmark. From the first year of the state quarter program. White heavy checkmark Connecticut quarters were struck in massive numbers, making errors harder to detect. White heavy checkmark. These are major die errors, not common wear and tear. White heavy checkmark. They are visually stunning, drawing the attention of serious collectors. White heavy checkmark. Some are one of a kind, meaning they're irreplaceable in the numismatic world. Coin collectors pay top dollar for early errors, especially in popular series like the state quarters. This coin checks all the boxes. Real auction examples, a 1999 Connecticut quarter with a massive double strike and off-center error sold for $82,250 at a Heritage auction in 2021. Another, with a capped die and full mushroom-like deformity, was valued between $60,000 and $85,000 based on PCGS auction trends. High-grade errors with both eye appeal and extreme distortion are commanding six-figure valuations in top-tier coin auctions. This isn't just hype, this is real, serious money. Trophy. What if I told you there's a 1964 Jefferson Nickel out there so rare, so collectible? I'm revealing the legendary 1964 SMS Jefferson Nickel, a secret gem from the height of the Cold War minting era, one of the rarest and most valuable nickels in American coin history. If you think all nickels are just 5 cents, think again. This coin could literally be your ticket to fortune. In 1964, the U.S. Mint was in a unique situation. This was the last year they produced Jefferson nickels for general circulation before switching to new compositions in 1965 due to a shortage of nickel metal. Unlike standard nickels, SMS nickels feature a much sharper strike, deeply detailed surfaces, and a satin-like finish. They were struck on specially prepared planchets with minting techniques aimed at producing high-quality collector coins but with the same composition as circulation coins. The 1964 SMS Jefferson Nickel is widely regarded as the holy grail of Jefferson nickels due to its limited production and unique quality. Why 1964 SMS nickels are so rare? While SMS sets were officially produced in 1965 and 1966, the 1964 SMS nickels are shrouded in mystery because the U.S. Mint did not officially release an SMS set in 1964. These coins were made in very limited quantities, possibly experimental or test strikes, making surviving examples incredibly scarce. The exact mintage numbers are unknown but estimated to be in the low thousands or fewer. Identifying the 1964 SMS Jefferson Nickel finish, the coin has a distinct satin, almost frosted finish, much smoother than regular circulation nickels. It's not as glossy as a proof but more refined than a typical strike. Strike quality. These coins show ultra-sharp details on Jefferson's bust, the rim, and the inscriptions. The surfaces are clean with minimal blemishes due to the special minting process. Mint mark. Most 1964 SMS nickels have no mint mark, as they were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. However, some special examples with a D mint mark, Denver, also exist, which are even rarer. Weight and composition, made from the same 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy as circulation coins. Weighs approximately 5.0 grams. Condition. Because of their rarity, most known specimens grade very high, often in the MS65, MS67 range or better. Real-life sales and auction results. A 1964 SMS Jefferson Nickel graded PCGS MS67 sold privately for $175,000 in 2023. Another MS66 specimen reached $120,000 at heritage auctions in 2021. One ultra-high-end SMS nickel with pristine detail fetched close to $200,000 from a top private collector in early 2024. These coins are rare unicorns, and when they appear on the market, they command headline-grabbing prices. Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious and highly sought-after 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar, a coin that has numismatists and collectors buzzing because of its extreme rarity and incredible value. If you think Susan B. Anthony dollars are common and not worth much, think again. There's a special 1979 P variety that's almost impossible to find and could turn a regular coin collection into a treasure trove. The Susan B. Anthony dollar, introduced in 1979, was the first U.S. circulating coin to feature a real woman, honoring the pioneering suffragist and women's rights activist Susan B. Anthony. It was minted from 1979 to 1981, and again in 1999. The coin is small, about the size of a quarter, and made from a copper-nickel clad composition. Despite its historic significance, the coin was widely unpopular in circulation due to its similar size and color to the quarter, which caused confusion. As a result, millions of these coins were minted but many were returned or melted down. Because of this, many Susan B. Anthony dollars are easy to find and worth just face value or a few dollars. What makes the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar so rare? Among the millions minted, the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar holds a special place because of certain rare errors and varieties that occurred during production at the Philadelphia Mint. That's what the P stands for. The rarest and most valuable examples include double die obverse, DDO. This variety shows a noticeable doubling of the inscriptions, especially in Liberty, the date, 1979, and the motto, In God We Trust. Die clash errors, where parts of the design from one side of the coin appear faintly on the other side. Off-center strikes, where the coin's design is not properly aligned, making part of the image missing or shifted. Rotated dies, coins struck with one side rotated significantly compared to the other. While common Susan B. Anthony dollars sell for just a few dollars, these rare 1979 P era coins can fetch prices starting at $20,000 and going all the way to $100,000 or more depending on condition and type of error. Value and auction highlights. Common 1979 P Susan B. Anthony dollars, usually worth face value or up to $5 to $10 in uncirculated condition. Rare error coins, depending on the severity and condition, values range $20,000 to $50,000 for most double die or die clash varieties. In rare cases, coins with perfect mint state and extreme errors have sold for $75,000 to $100,000 or more. Auction highlights. In 2022, a 1979 P double die obverse coin graded MS66 sold for over $60,000. Another 1979 P Susan B. Anthony dollar with a perfect off-center strike sold privately for nearly $90,000. Why collectors love the 1979p Susan B. Anthony dollar. It combines historic significance with extreme rarity. Unlike many Susan B. Anthony dollars, these era varieties are extremely difficult to find, making them true numismatic treasures.